Okay, this is a tournament game I played about 2 years ago, in 2007. My opponent is rated 1900, and my rating going into this tournament, 2019. It starts off with an English move order. Um, of course, I never play against English proper, with e5 and so forth. I'm looking for transpositions into systems that I want to play. Indian systems like the Nimzo Indian or Queen's Indian defense, or sometimes English move order opening will transpose into a Queen's Gambit declined, that sort of thing. So after knight f6, um, knight f3, we can rule out an Nimzo Indian, which usually arises after this series of moves, so forth. Um, so this is a game, e6, d4, b6, defining the Queen's Indian defense. My opponent decides on the Petrosian system, which is considered to be the most sharp and aggressive plan for white in this line. It's a bit of a dual-purpose move. For one thing, it allows white to develop his queen's knight to c3 without having to tolerate the bishop e5 pin, as in the Nimzo Indian type systems. The other thing is it prepares for a possible b4 c5 expansion down the road. So there's lots to think about with subtle, seemingly quiet moves like that. So after bishop b7, normal move, knight c3, bishop e7. It's a little less common than d5 here, which is considered the main line. After c takes d5, knight takes d5. This position's been achieved thousands of times at least in tournament play, probably hundreds of times in Grandmaster play. White ends up getting a mobile pawn center. As you can see, the e4 pawn's ready or the e pawn is ready to be developed from e2 to e4, and the white gets some good attacking chances on the king side, and it's also that type of position my opponent is looking for, which is a consideration in these things. As human players, we're not approaching the game like a computer. We're not able to crunch all the numbers. We really need to take a strategic approach to the game and come up with plans. Motions are a factor. Even at all the way up to the super grandmaster level, this sort of thing is true. So what I'm trying to do, in addition to playing good moves, I'm trying to create problems for my opponent, practical problems. I'm trying to make him uncomfortable with the position, and presumably he's trying to do the same to me. So after bishop e7, e3, double zero, bishop d3, d6, double zero, knight bd7, rook e1. White is still trying to prepare the advance of the center e pawn, and black continues with his plan. This is the point where I felt white was missing the mark here. I think queen c2 looks a little bit more natural, not allowing black to relieve the crampedness. As you can see here, the black's dark square bishop is still a problem piece, and white has a space advantage in the center, and black still has some practical problems to sort out. But after d takes e5, knight takes e5, knight takes, pawn takes, you can see that black has achieved a lot of freedom here. Position's probably dead equal. I don't know how you can make an argument for white having any semblance of advantage at all at this point. Um, Black's bishops are have good scope and are ready to are quite mobile. And this move I didn't really care for either. I considered again queen c2, and white can try to play for advantage, but after e4 there's a weakening of the dark squares. There's a nice hole on d4 which can be exploited and occupied with a minor piece by black. So white's continuing to develop his pieces naturally, but I think his strategy is in error. I think black has no problems in this position, and white's really not playing with much forcefulness. Okay, on this move, c6, I consider this a very strong move. It's a strategic move. It may not make a lot of sense to a lot of people. It seems to hem in the h1a8 diagonal light squared bishop here, and it seems a little bit counterintuitive, but the bishop's actually planning to recycle on e6. The real merit of this move is to take away squares from the white queen's knight. And as you can see, black is trying to maintain control of the position. I'm looking for a type of position that will frustrate my opponent.